Hey YouTube, today I'm going to do a video on instinctive knife throwing. Just going to give y'all some tips and tricks. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show y'all actually execute some of these techniques. So if you want to skip forward to the talking and go to the actual throwing, be my guest. But if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to throw from different distances without having to throw from your same little marker, and you want to be able to become a more diverse thrower, I would stick around. Okay, this is mostly going to apply to rotational throwing. And I'll try to throw some no-spin tips in there for you too, but the no-spin style, it's a lot easier to throw instinctively than it is with rotational. But both can be just as rewarding. First off, what I see most beginners making mistakes of doing, is flicking their wrist, alright? People have a very natural tendency to flick the wrist from playing baseball or football, and you can keep that technique into your knife throwing, kind of transfer those skills over. But as a beginner, you're going to have to put that to a minimum and then slowly work that back into your routine. Because when you throw a knife and you flick your wrist really hard, it's going to come out spinning very fast. Okay, and since we want to slow the spin down, what we're going to do is, as a beginner, limit the wrist flick. Okay, and when I tell people kind of, hey, lock your wrist out, they tend to do this, and they throw kind of like they're almost like a hammer grip, I guess. But what I do is throw like this. Okay. So my forearm and knife create pretty much a straight line. Okay, it's much more natural and it's much more accurate. All right, releasing the knife like this is not near as accurate as this. Okay, you want that point of the knife to be aimed at your bullseye. Okay, another tips for slowing the spin down: grip the knife a little bit harder. This is going to cause the knife to spin out slower. Okay. You're all going to have to put a little more like energy and attention into like slowly releasing your fingers and opening them up, and that'll cause the knife to spin out slower. Also, if you want to get close to the target, say you're gripping the knife too tight, just move down on the handle like this. Okay, that's going to cause the knife to spin faster. Same thing with the tip. Grip it down here, it's going to spin faster. Other grips that'll affect this throw is one of my favorites for your one-spin throw is putting the thumb on the back. Alright, of all the instinctive throws, one spin is probably not the most versatile. Half spin and no spin are much more versatile, and you can throw this from a wider range of distances. So to increase your one-spin options, this will slow the spin down. Also, you can throw the knife flat. This is not a very accurate throw, but if you release the knife like this, the plane of the knife will create a sort of like wind resistance, and that'll slow the spin down. Same thing with your half spin throws. Alright, I found that the half spin flat throws are very accurate, and you can get from throwing like 6 feet. Alright, if you're releasing the knife linear like this, you get from 6 feet to up to like almost 16 feet, releasing the knife flat. But when I throw full spin using grip knife flat, throwing it, I don't really tend to get very accurate. But the half spin is accurate. Also for the half spin, using a Russian grip. Now when you do throw the Russian grip, you are going to have to release it kind of vertical. You're not going to be able to roll it flat over like this. I mean, I guess you could, but it would defeat the purpose of putting your index finger on the top of the knife. But this you can get up to about 30 feet or so. And it's really one of my favorite instinctive knife throwing techniques. Okay, next. When this concerns the actual throwing motion, depending on how much energy you have while you're knife throwing, can affect your throws. But with some knowledge of what you're actually doing, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, like for instance, if you're kind of slower, it's the end of the day and you're a little tired, you may have the habit of just kind of planting your feet and just throwing real soft, as opposed to when you have a lot of energy. Maybe you're throwing earlier in the morning. You're more willing to reach out there. Okay, when you reach out, obviously it could add up to 6 inches to a foot to the knife's flight. And as you know, if you've done any throwing, that's a hit or a miss. So that's something to keep in mind. Am I grounded on my foot? How far am I stepping each time? And how far am I reaching? Second, I've heard professionals say this, a lot when they're teaching new beginners, and they say that the harder you throw the knife, or like the faster you throw it, the slower the knife's going to spin. Well, not really. When you decide, okay, I'm going to throw the knife hard, you're going to grip the knife tighter, and that's what's going to cause the spin to slow down. Well, that's all the tips I really have for instinctive throwing. as far as no spin styles, it's really pretty simple. Usually, when you're throwing like a shuriken style, you're gonna add more of a pushing action. You can apply that to your spear style or knife throws as well. If you're not familiar with a no spin, I've done several other videos on the no spin, so you can find one on spear style, look at it, and then find one on the shuriken style, and those will give you kind of an idea of what the different styles look like. But in a sense, you're basically just going to create a hybrid for different throws. All right. So, for instance, if I'm 30 feet back, I'm obviously going to have to add a heavy push on my spear style throws. And likewise, if I'm throwing a bow shuriken, it's a point blank. I'm going to have more of a thorn style wrist flicking technique. So, I mean, no spin, those are styles really tailored to throwing instinctively as opposed to rotational style, which is different. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all the video clips that I did earlier, and I hope you all enjoy that. There'll probably be a part 2 of this video just because there's so many different little tips and techniques that you can use to either speed up or slow down the spin. But thanks for watching. Alright, I'm going to start off with a one rotational throw using a GI Tanto. I've got these 3 stumps set up at different distances, so approximately 1.5 meters apart. And I'm just standing at approximately the same distance for all 3 throws. And for the last throw, I'm going to use a no spin grip like this, which I did not mention, but it's still going to be one rotational throw. Alright, now I'm going to move on to half spin throws using this crappy survival knife. It's always a good stick when you have wood fiber stuck to your knife. Alright, now we move on to both the crappy survival knife and the GI Tanto. Well, I stuck this guy, but cold steel kicked it out of town. Alright, last throws. Alrighty, well, thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I might do a part 2 of this video, just because there's so many different techniques you can use for this instinctive knife throwing. Subscribe. I'd also like to give a shout out. I bought this knife, it's a GI Tanto cold steel, from a local knife dealer. His shop is called Knife and Defense Depot, and I'm also going to put a link to his online webpage in the description of this video. So if you can check out his stuff, he sells a bunch of good stuff, high-end switchblades, cold steel stuff, which can be kind of hard to find, and Spyderco, Benchmade, you name it. So if you can, give him some business, and thanks for watching.